Okay. Hey, my Legion. How you all doing today? Had an interesting day today. Start off interesting with John.
Franklin Township, which isn't only, what, 10 miles from my house, tops. Yeah. They were having a recycling event today, so one of the things is like, okay, you can recycle TVs and monitors and electronics. It said electronics, $2 charge. Everything else is free, but if you're gonna recycle some electronics, you got to pay $2. And now, if you have like something like a refrigerator Freon and you sell the Freon it, we're gonna charge you $10 to dispose of the Freon. So I'm like, well, let me get up early and do that. I don't get up till like usually 10 or 11. But I'm like, oh, let me get up at 8:30. The night before, after I got home from work, I brought up, I found I had two of the old...
Old, okay. Yeah, old what?
Old monitors, those old computer monitors, the massive CRT ones, the old analog ones. So, each one was probably that long, so they were heavy duty. I had a flat screen one, so I brought those up. Then I had a microwave probably about that big, and then one probably about this big that I brought up, put them on my front porch. And then a toaster I had that was laying around, it doesn't work anymore. And then an air pump, electronic one. So I'm like, well, I don't have a pickup anymore, so I gotta see how much I can fit in the Jeep Renegade. So got up 8:30 this morning, packed it all in there. I wore like a sweatpants and sweatshirt because it'll give you, so that shit's been in my basement for at least some of it's probably a decade, and all dusty. And then I'm like, okay, I'll get there by 9:30, probably a half hour tops, maybe 45 minutes. And I had told Jason I'd pick him up at 10:30 because I found on the news that they were doing a flu shot clinic again at the VA. So I get there and there's a line on 98, which goes into Franklin, and there's like a fire hall. Both sides of the highway there's lines. So I'm sitting there, and I heard someone asking one of the volunteers directing traffic, oh, how long does it take? Oh, I heard about an hour. I'm like, fudge. So, I let Jason know. And it was slow going. They had two lines going in. But once you got in there and unloading, they also had like a card you fill out and bring with you that they mailed out to people in the region. Like, you probably got one. It was a yellow card. And you could fill it out and enter to one like a 50-inch TV, $100 in gas, one of the Albion restaurants, gift certificate, and a bunch of other stuff. And so I get up to the one lady, and she's like, what do you got? I said, I have all electronics. I got about 8 things. Well, because $2 a piece, so I figured it's going to be $16. She goes, oh, so like TV monitors? I said, yeah, I got 3 of those. Okay, what else? 2 microwaves? That doesn't count. I'm like, oh, that doesn't count. And none of the other stuff, shredder was one of the other things. None of it counted, except for the monitors. So I only had to pay $6, but I had only a 20s on me. So I said, keep the change because it was a fundraiser for the paramedics. So I'm like, I don't care. Give the paramedics some money, because you never know when I'm going to need them. And then when they guide you to where to go, so they're like, okay, follow this one vehicle, and now load your first set of electronics, and then you got to go over to this one to unload your monitors. And it was nice because he had people there to unload your stuff for you. So I didn't have to unload it, which is good because, boy, that stuff was heavy, just bringing up the stairs and then putting it in the back of the Jeep. So it took an hour and a half from when I got there. And I'm like, shit. So I, called Jason, let him know I'm on the way. And then I didn't think we'd make it to the flu clinic in time. But we decided to go.
Yeah, I mean,
because it was only till noon, and that's up in Erie, so that's like a 40-minute drive from Jason's bank. We had to stop
Yeah.
at.
But the thing that
I had a piss, so we had to stop at McDonald's first so I could piss.
Yeah. Well, the thing that was crazy was they said that they, what do they call it? They, she said a word for it. They
Outsource?
They outsourced people to let people know about the flu clinic. And no one received anything. I didn't receive, every year
They were supposed to, those people were supposed to gather the list of phone numbers for them.
Yeah.
They were doing that stuff, so like probably the data.
Yeah. And I didn't receive a phone call. And this was the second week, because they did last week too. And the lady said it was so slow, they didn't have half the number they did before. A lot of times it's like older people that might not get on the web, going to the VA, being disappointed that they didn't know when they missed out a flu shot. And now it's like all these other small, tiny areas. Yeah.
We had it on news a couple times.
Yeah.
I forgot about the first time
Yeah.
we had it on. But then we had it again Friday night.
Oh, wow.
So we had, well, maybe we had it the previous week for the previous one. And there's one coming up today. So we had it on news a couple times. I'm sure the other stations did. So, but if you don't watch the news, like by the time you get home,
yeah, I'm napping.
But yeah, well, it's like, okay, this whole outsourcing of crap. The same thing. So I had a flare up in my sciatica. One day at work, it was so bad, my general manager drove me to the hospital, and my parents met me up there for a ride back to pick up my vehicle later. And so, I went in there, they gave me an exam, made sure I didn't have blood clots or anything. And then I kept getting a bill. Okay, so to be continued.
Yeah,
so Jason ran his face on his camera because he doesn't unload stuff to his computer. I gave him a drive for extra space. So what I was saying is, you're talking about outsourcing these hospitals. Yeah. I had an inflamed sciatica, went up to the hospital from work. They did exam and all this stuff, and paid my bills from St. Vincent's. I'm getting one from some something. I'm like, don't know who the hell these are. And they kept bugging me saying I owe money, and I'm like, oh, but I don't see anything from St. Vincent's. So I call up St. Vincent's. Of course, the Allegheny Health Network outsources to a call center in India.
Yeah.
And the one guy's like, well, the account's not showing anything. And I'm like, okay. So he goes, don't worry about it. So I didn't. Then I keep getting bugged by that one group, and then I looked at my insurance, and there was something rejected. Because it said, need information about an accident. I was not in an accident. So I don't know what the hell that was about. So I call up again, the call center. I got some lady, and I said, I don't know, put in a request, resubmit the claim and say it wasn't an accident. So she said, okay, I'll do that. Nothing. So I got my tooth yanked a week ago. I had a bad wisdom tooth that was rotting away, but it didn't hurt until they yanked it out. I'm like, well, I'm over near St. Vincent's anyways. So I'm like, hey, can I leave my vehicle here and go take care of a bill? Yeah, so I walk over there, and they're looking through my account, and you don't know anything. And I brought the paperwork with me, the one letter I got from this place. Oh, our emergency room staff are outsourced. They work for that company, not us. What? They outsource the emergency room people. So it is a legitimate bill. So then I wait till the next day because my jaw is to get it all straightened out. It's still not completely done. But yeah, so they're like outsourcing the emergency room. Just like the VA outsources the data entry people.
That's so weird, though. Because it was like a lot of seniors and stuff don't always go on the computer stuff. There's usually a message on the phone saying, protect yourself from the flu, get a flu shot. And, that we get before the very first flu clinic. And then we get like something in the mail like about a week or so. Because this is the second week, and then they didn't have it anymore. They were...
Well, not in Erie County. They have it in other counties.
Yeah, they have it in other places. But it's more probably tougher to get to or not less convenient, I guess. But I think a lot of veterans are going to be complaining that they didn't know ahead of time about the flu clinic. Because she said it's usually really hopping. There's a ton of people there Last week she said, so this week we got there maybe like 10 before 12. We didn't know if we'd make it. And it was kind of like a ghost town. They usually have directionals all over the place. It was like nothing. And then there was one lady out of the back of her van.
Yeah, we just happened to notice. I think she
Yeah.
even motioned to us, and that's
Motioned to
like,
us,
I guess we have to go over
Yeah.
here. And of course, that's because we're so late. They were
Yeah.
packing up and leaving.
Yeah, you know, we still had 9 minutes for 12 or something
Well,
like
it
that.
was I think 5 till by the time
Or
we
5
got
till.
there.
Her daughter was there, and she asked me a question or two. She's very nice. She asked if I was over 65, which I'm not. I guess over 65, they said you gotta get a super strong
Right.
flu shot. But she said, you know, she said my last four and my info and stuff like that. She had my car, and she gave me my flu shot, and she wrote down my name and my social. And that while she was going to run her hand there, her daughter gave her a little sticky memo thing, the little squares right there. I mean, her daughter was there. I mean, that's the first time I've seen little kids there. Usually the cops are there. Everyone's there was like vacant a ghost town.
But again, we got there so late. She even said that.
Yeah.
We were all packing up. That's why
it was
it's also because it was almost noon.
Yeah.
So most everybody that worked there to help out cleared out, except for her, because she was waiting for any stragglers like us.
Yeah.
So
it was very nice for her. She was very kind and stuff. But usually it's like pretty full, and then sometimes they say they wait till they may go until like 12:30 because there's so many people there. This year it wasn't that because no one knew about it.
Right.
Because we used to do it inside the building, and there'd be like, it was on the third floor, and then the whole third floor would be like crowded. A standing room only. You get out of the elevator, it's all crowded. We were waiting in line with my dad. My dad was there, and the lady said, I'll give you a flu shot anyway. She said, no, my dad said, no, I didn't earn it. So he didn't take one. They wouldn't have given him a flu shot regardless. But that's the same with Outsourcing. I think they really dropped the ball this time. Whoever was supposed to get it, it was a shame that happened. I bet a lot of veterans are going to be complaining about that. So until next time, please take care of my Legion. Take care of Legion. I would.